Hello, 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 my kitten caboodles. It's been 2 weeks.
Hi.
2 weeks. And I've missed you all. We're down 2 people, but, well, no, we're down 3 socialites. But we're going to make it do what it do this weekend. I missed you all.
We missed you, Bleu.
Thank you. Hey, Jail.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Don't give me that look. You know you missed me. No, don't put that stubby little middle finger up at me.
Oh, it goes in. It goes all the way in.
Put it all the way in. Yeah.
Don't put that little stumpy little middle finger up at me. Oh my goodness. So I had a 2-week hiatus because I had to take care of some personal things. Yeah. And I needed a mental health break, and I needed a physical break, and I needed a rest because I've been spreading myself thin. And you know, the cat can't be everywhere. And so I'm so glad that y'all were able to hold it down. Don't give me that look like that. Don't really. That look becomes you.
Oh my goodness.
How was tell me about the 2 weeks. How was it? What did y'all talk about? What was going on?
Oh, we talked about all of the things.
What? Let
me see. We talked about something. Okay, so I can talk. Last week, Nate and I had a very candid and intimate discussion about sexuality and attitudes around sexuality and just, taking temperature around different things like proclivities and introduction to sex and all the different doorways along the hallway of sex and sexuality is the way I'll put it.
Okay. And so I'm glad that so y'all were talking about sexuality. What else were you talking about?
That was the show last week.
Yeah.
That was the show last week.
That was the whole show. And it was
that just took the place of one of our book sessions. I will submit that as one of the book sessions.
One of the book sessions, yes, sir.
One of the book sessions.
One of the book sessions. Because I'm going on record as having said that I am actually going to pursue certification. Y'all push me to it. I'm going to actually pursue
Very good. Very good. Very good. I'm so glad. I'm so proud of you, first of all. I'm so glad that you're actually pursuing that. That's something that you should actually do. Yeah. That's how I feel. If you are joining us, this is the Kocktail Social. I'm your host, Blue Waters. These are my socialites. And I was away for 2 weeks, but I'm here now. And if you would like to join us in the conversation, by all means, add your comments. I have my cocktail. I hope that you have your cocktail. I don't see my socialites with cocktails, so I think everyone is preparing for Easter Sunday. But what is that? No.
What is this?
Is that Coke 45?
It's coconut water, watermelon, Perrier, somebody. It looks fancy. Yeah.
Take your watermelon water someplace else. Boo! This is an adult show.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
Anyway, to my socialites who are unable to join us, my heart and some prayers are with everyone that is that is dealing with illness, that is dealing with financial issues, that are stuck at work, all of those things. We miss you. My heart and prayers is with you and your family. I know that this has been a tough time for everyone. And so again, like I said, the Kocktail Social is completely, we're our hearts go out to you, and we're praying for you.
Praying for everybody.
Everybody. And we hope that
COVID, all
that's been affected. Exactly. And hopefully we'll all be back together again next week or soon. Which brings us to we were supposed to be getting together tomorrow for our potluck, but it looks like, as always, we're going to have to postpone that. Push it back. But it's okay. It's okay.
We love each other anyway.
We love each other anyway. Speaking of which, I know that you were saying last week you were talking about sexuality. So, did anybody get to see the Lil Nas X video?
I did. Oh, first of all, can I say real quick, shout out to Nicole Belvedere. She was here the week before last, and she sat in as a guest socialite. Hi, girl. Hey, thanks for stopping.
Hey.
We really appreciate you and your sophistiratedness.
Come again.
Come
Thank
again.
you for your sophistiratedness, girl.
Come again.
And hopefully next time I'm available, I'm here because I love her. And I want her on the show more often. I mean, I'll talk to Mother to see if we can make that happen. There you go. So, Lil Nas X. Did y'all see the video?
I saw it.
What were your thoughts?
I wanted to watch it again.
Wait a minute. First of all, have y'all discussed this already?
No.
Okay. Tell me about it. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts were I wanted to watch it again just because it was so much going on in the video. Like, it's so much discussion about it. There's so much commentary. Everybody has an opinion. And I'm just like, I'm not offended by it because I feel like it's I felt like it was artistic. I understood his point of view. And I don't see how it's any different than Madonna's Like a Prayer. Like, for that time frame when Madonna did Like a Prayer, her video was extremely controversial. You had a black man playing Jesus. He was behind bars. She's all tonguing him down behind bars. Like, it was a whole big to-do. Oh my God, the evangelicals went crazy. Like, they were all in a tizzy. Now here you have this African-American man who sings, raps, country music. That's already a no-go. Then on top of that, he's gay. And sings country music. Then on top of that, he's out and gay and sings country music and he raps. And now you're gonna throw it up in our face and you're gonna throw religious images in our faces, and you're gonna dress in drag, and you're gonna wear heels and makeup, and you're gonna slide down a pole like a stripper, and you're gonna give the devil a lap dance, and you're gonna talk about your boyfriend and fucking him in the same damn video. Say word, son. Like, the people are losing their minds behind it, but it's all on surface. Like, they're not looking past and listening past the video and what you see on the surface. Right, and the imagery. Like, to me, he's calling all the bullshit to the carpet, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. That's just what I took from it.
How do you damn somebody to hell anyway and then get mad when they represent it? Like, you told me I was going to hell.
Oh my gosh. So I happened to be on the Twitters. And I had to screenshot this because I felt like it
Did I do something wrong?
Awesomely captured what Nate just said. Somebody said they made us to be monsters, then gasped as we grew fangs and wings. Talking about the LGBTQ plus community. Like everything that is gay is demonized. All of it.
Right. Well, I think that for me, I really appreciate, this is a young man, and I've seen that so when he first came out, it was a lot of controversy about him being a black man singing, rapping to over a country beat, and it receiving such the accolades that it received. And then now I know that for some, their belief is that he's doing it for attention. But I think that all entertainers are doing it for attention, because if you're a true artist, you want to call attention to your art. So you do things that will draw people in. And I think for him, he's been catching such flack about, his sexuality, and he's very active on, I think, social media. So he, I guess on Twitter, he's talking to his fans. He's opinionated. He has his views, and he's willing to have a rebuttal. He's going to say something. If you speak to him, or you say you voice your opinion about something he's done, he's going to reply. He's going to respond. So I think when I saw it from a very artistic perspective, and I knew exactly what he was saying. I knew what it was about, and I thought it was good. I was like, kudos to you. Now, the song, but the art, the imagery, with the message was it. All in all, I got it. I understood what it was. The big thing was when Nike said that they were suing him. Well, suing the company that made that recreated those shoes. And I'm like, honestly, you should have probably hopped in on that, because there were people that were spending, I guess, a couple of $100s for those shoes, just because of that. So, I mean,
well, that's why they're suing them. That's why they're suing them, because the art the art of recreating and doing specialty sneakers they have whole festivals around doing this, and you're gonna hone in on this one particular black gay male because you want in on that money, and they're not even going to do anything with it. They just going to keep you from making the money.
Because the company that did the shoe, they bought the shoes with their own money. They injected a couple cc's of red ink and 1 drop of human blood in 666 pairs of those shoes, each pair numbered, and then they sold them.
Now, first of all, you ain't need to add no blood. So
but they did that. Like, that's what they did. Nike is mad about it.
I don't want that energy.
Well, that's what's selling it. And the Church of Satan has even denounced those shoes. So,
and if for anything else, that should say something, because they know he's making a mockery. That community knows he's making a mockery of that whole thing.
Right.
And it goes back to even Beyonce, and the whole idea of people selling their soul for fame. The Illuminati, always get the black soul, but not ever the white soul. And it's that same idea, and he's making a mockery of all of you all.
Of all of it.
And the fact that you can only understand him sexually, it says a lot about what's on your mind and what's on your consciousness.
I agree.
Because his rebuttals for everything, based on what I was reading on Twitter, his rebuttals for everything is strong. It's not just a clap back because he feels personally attacked. His clapback is, oh, y'all mad? Oh, I want y'all to stay mad. Oh, y'all mad about these Satan 666s? Okay, well, I'm going to put a shoe out for the other side. He put out some Chick-fil-A sneakers. To me, that was hilarious, because we all know how Chick-fil-A feels about homosexuals. We all know. So for him to put out the Chick-fil-A, I thought that was genius. And he was also saying how some governor, I forget of what state, but she was like, you know, we're in a fight for our children's soul. He's like, you out here worried about a tennis shoe, but you know, we got people out here dying of COVID, and you all up on my song. When I did Country Road, I was literally singing about lean and fornication, but that was all right for your kids to listen to.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's a cherry picker, and that's what everybody who was commenting on him, that's what I would call them, and make them piss them off, because you're cherry picking issues because it was blatant. You know, because it was blatant in your face. And the first one he did, that's why I shared that Trojan horse meme to the group, because that spoke to what is happening in this generation. They're selling something as this, and when they get in the door, it's totally a different ball game. And we see that, we're gonna see that in the movie industry with not Sanaa Lathan, Issa Rae and Danny Glover. You know, they giving them all this money to create content that's safe Black art. But when they get in there, they go, really, you gave the wrong people money. You're giving the wrong people, and not, I'm using wrong to be facetious, but you're giving the wrong people money, thinking that every Black person is going to coon when you get a couple commas in your bank account. And it threw me off in a way for two reasons. One, because the obvious hate that it was coming up in the comments. You know, it was a lot of people that when I posted it to my page, it was people who supposedly got so much love for me that was posting faggot and all, like, on my timeline, and I didn't even take it down. I let the people get attacked. And then on the other side, it was people who I know got a cousin or a brother or a sister or a parent that is gay, that they haven't talked to in years because of that was defending this young man. And rightfully so defending him, but you were defending him, but the person who is sharing your bloodline or your best friend, you don't even talk to them anymore. Or you're still in the closet yourself. Like, it was just, this whole issue around Lil Nas X from the beginning has been uncomfortable to me. It's been very uncomfortable because people, they want you in their box. I can't be myself, but I want you to be this. I'm tired of you do something else but be gay. But then when that person does something like, you know, even if we attach, what's his name, the gospel singer that a new interview just surfaced about him. This man has tried to be straight.
Walls.
No,
Donnie McClurkin.
Yeah, Donnie McClurkin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's demonstrated doing what you asked him to do, but you joking him because you don't believe he's straight.
Right.
Also,
why do you want it?
I'm gonna get back. I want to put a pin in that one because
I
want to talk about that. I think that, and to me, what Lil Nas X is doing, to me, is artistry. He's not doing anything that Prince didn't do, Michael Jackson didn't do,
Janet Jackson,
Little Richard,
Little Richard didn't do, Boy George didn't do.
Right, all of them.
All of them, they've all done something to push the envelope to call attention to how we are, the hypocrisy of everything. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, and that's what I like about him. You know, I'm not, you know, that I'm from a different era, so music is completely different. I'm the 70s, so music was different back then.
I mean, sorry.
First of all, watch your mouth, Nate.
I know, that's why I said sorry.
Hold and time out. Your whole and time out.
But you look good, Kay.
Tread lightly. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you.
Gotcha.
You only wish. You only wish. It sits to the side, baby. Let me see what that. Do it again. Do it again. Is that pancake number?
Not even a little bit. Not even.
Is that pancake?
Not even.
Is that Don't look.
Don't hate on the mocha caramel
that I got.
Oh Lord, that is so funny.
Don't be fooled. I don't think you're ready for this biscotti. So
I'm not ready.
It's funny. So I wanted to Nate, you said something about, people want to put you in a box. Mm-hmm. So did anybody happen to see Niecy Nash's Red Table Talk interview?
I did. And I thought that I'm really proud of her. I am. And I'm also proud. I mean, I'm gonna give kudos to where it's due. I think Jada Pinkett's Red Table Talk, Table Talks is a really good show. I think that her mother, and her daughter, they really captured something that's like lightning in a bottle, and they really had some good shows on it. They really had. So,
but I get where we're going with this, because I just learned that Jada Pinkett is the person who executive produced the Charm City Boys. So more power to you. Mm-hmm. But it's still, and I hate to take away a moment, but it's still different for women. It's a fantasy when there's a young lady in the mix. It is disgusting when there's a young man in the mix.
That's true.
It's
a double standard.
It is a double standard.
She handled hers, right? She handled hers way different. Mm-hmm. But she, still a black woman, a black gay queer woman can still come out and don't give any press on it. She ain't gave no press.
She ain't give none.
All she did was smile in the camera. And people said what they said, but they are calling him out his name on his page. I didn't see that from Niecy Nash. I didn't see that from Ellen. I didn't see that from Rosie O'Donnell. I didn't see that from all of the bisexual tween young ladies that come out and can kiss a girl and they like it. I didn't see that energy. I didn't see that same energy. They say it's there, but they openly hate bash young men.
Yeah,
they openly hate and bash young black men.
Yeah. Say that again.
Young black men. It is still incredibly taboo for black men to come out as gay. It is incredibly taboo.
So you can't have your piece of cake where you want them to be truthful with you and give you the right to choose, yet you still treat them like lesser than citizens for being who they are born to be. Like I don't get the dynamic. It's confusing to me. Even just I can imagine the comments that were on his page, because just the comments that I got from reposting the image, it was people who say they love me or love, yeah.
It was those people. It was the snack people
yeah.
who give me your
really?
accolades. Yes. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because gay people, especially black gay men and women, black gay men are seen as minstrels. We're seen as the clowns, the people that make you laugh. We're seen as the entertainment. We're seen as the people that your fashion designer, we're to be looked at. But when we leave the room, we're talked about. We're not celebrated. We're tolerated. And I think that what happens is that we're in a different era where people are saying, well, we want more. We are really individuals that we have feelings. We have a say. We have a stock in who we are, and you can't accept us in one light but shun us in another.
And the reason I reposted it and I put my image in it, because I wanted to see who would come out of the woodworks with what foolishness or what level of support from my perspective. But it's a shame that you have to, and part of my post was, it's a shame that I have to be rich and famous and I can change your life with a simple like or tweet for you to respect me, or I have to have a certain level of popularity, because I know artists, even in the city, we got the DDMs who comes out as openly gay and gets all of this love from the rap community, the hip hop community, yet there are a few people over to the right side in the same art lane, maybe not a rapper, maybe not as good, but you don't even see him. You only see him because if he did a feature on your album, you would be popular. And I don't want to single out DDM, but because he's open and he's, real successful within the city and beyond, he get a certain level of love being a black male. But he still talks openly on his page about, the innuendo hate that he gets. But it's sad. It's just
that's just like, who was it? Tank. Was it Tank?
Yeah. Like getting his booty ate.
Not only that, but he talked about sucking dick. He was on stage talking about sucking dick one time.
Well, he said that if you suck a dick once or twice, that doesn't make you gay. I mean, maybe it doesn't.
I'll agree.
He didn't confirm whether he had sucked it once or twice, but he said if you suck it once or twice, then
it just means that you sucked the dick once or twice. Maybe you tried it the first time, thought it was a fluke, and had to go back to confirm. I don't know.
Do you use Dove or?
I was like, that was an okay experience. Let me go back and see if that's something I want to continue to do.
But we should be free to do that without being labeled.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, because of all the conversation and the chatter that built up around it, then all of a sudden it became a very harsh kind of response. Like, I said what I said, and I don't have to defend because black man right here, look at me. Like that was what it started to be, and
he had to do that so he could. So I just let people know I like to get my booty. Oh damn.
And I think that the reality is that it's a whole lot of people, and this is the truth. There are people that are participating in things that they don't talk about, and what happens is that the individual that to me that are having the most issues with it are those individuals that are struggling in some way, shape, or form. What you responding to, Nate?
No, because he said 75 M views, and I was just
he was talking about the Little Nas X video.
It blew up. And so those are the individuals. I think that we are in a society that has taught people, we live in a society that's built around contradictions. So they say that you're individual, but then they want you to they want you to fall into a box.
Anything different is the enemy.
Anything is, and a lot of people, I was having this real deep conversation with a young man who was asking me about my sexuality, which I have no problem with. I celebrate my sexuality as much as possible. And so, but it's not a major part of me. It's a small part of me. And I always correct people by saying that even though I acknowledge my sexuality, it's a very small part of me. Because
they're not asking you about your sexuality. They're simply asking you, who do you have sex with?
That's what they're asking.
And that's not sexuality to me. That's you asking me about my sex life.
That's what it is. They're asking you, what is the gender of the people you choose to have sex with? That's what they're asking you.
And why?
That's my question. Why does it matter?
Why? And so my thing is that when I had this conversation with the young man, he was talking about, is he homophobic if he doesn't agree with being gay or sexuality, homosexuality or bisexuality or any of that stuff. And I was like, well, it's not up to me to decide that. It's up to you. In my sense, this is how.
What do you do with your lack of support of it? What are you doing with it? Because that will determine whether or not you're homophobic.
He based off of. And so I said he was using the definition of homophobia. He was like, well, it's the fear of gay people. And he was like, I don't fear gay people. I'm good with gay people. It's just that I know that it's not something for me. And my response was, and I was like, that's cool. That's your choice. But I said, then how do you know? How do you really know that you like something or dislike something if you've never tried it?
That fucked them up.
Like when people tell me, well, I know I don't like it. I know I'm not attracted to it. How do you know? That's like you saying something tastes bad if you've never tasted it.
Yeah. I think like Gammy said on Red Table Talk, she was like,
I'm glad that you call her Gammy.
But listen, what else I'm gonna call her? She was like, I've never. She's like, I've thought about it, but I don't think that's something that she said, I feel like it's too late in my life to experiment with that just because of the era in which she grew up. But for like Jada, she was like, that's just not something that I ever saw myself doing. Like, yeah, I swooned over a couple of ladies, but like, I've never been sexually attracted to a woman like that. And I think that sometimes maybe people just don't really know how to articulate what it is that they want to say. Like, not that, oh, I don't like gay people or I don't like men.
Well, we in a space right now where if you say something that seemingly is against a population of people, you're canceled. So a lot of these people can't. I feel bad for celebrities sometimes because we can hide behind millions of people not knowing who we are. But for them, if you say the wrong, Sharon Osbourne, she did nothing wrong and has been fired. So
wait, what happened?
Pivot.
What did she say? For what? What did she say?
She defended her friend.
What did her friend do?
Piers Morgan. That's the young man who had the issue with
Meghan Markle.
I said Meghan McCain. Meghan Markle. And her saying, tell me what he did wrong. Tell me, which he didn't say anything in that moment, what they were talking about, but they made a case of his whole character, not just that one moment. And she got fired over that.
Because she asked a question?
Yeah. Basically, tell me what he did wrong.
Wow.
And they turned that into an attack of her being racist. So now she's out of a job. But not to put it on this white lady, but more so just in general, because one of the things that, I had a problem with was, when he first came out as gay, he did an interview with Kevin Hart, and LeBron James had this barbershop web series that they were doing.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Little Nas X. Okay. And they brought him onto the show, and they were talking because it was around the time when he first came out, and they brought it up. And he said, well, I didn't come out before because of where I lived and how, but now I'm nowhere near that zip code. So I can be, and he said he realized I can be whoever I wanted to be. I have the money to be who I want to be. I have the popularity and the influence to be who I want to be. So I can be who I want to be, which it was off. But Kevin Hart pretended like, well, was it really that difficult for you? Like, nigga, y'all both you grew up in Philly hood. Imagine if you'd have told people you were gay. Would you have done that? Now, no.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because there are people who literally move away from their cities, their families, just so that they can be free.
Just so they can be out,
just so that they can experience life and freedom and happiness. And they stay away from their families because it's torturous for them to have to just come out.
To live that double life.
To live that double life, and they rather just stay away and be happy. I think that is that to me is very sad. And I remember, and here's a blue tale. I think I told y'all this. A blue tale. A blue tale. So I remember at 21.
Where are you, my
Shout out, Christy. I thought she was in the room.
She was supposed to be in the room, but
she was on her way in. Something must have happened.
Right. So on 21. And I was, there she goes. I'm going to wait till she comes on, because I have to let her know that this is a blues tale. So she has to do. But anyway, so 21, the New Year's Eve, I call my mom and I'm like, I'm going to finally tell my mom about, I'm coming out. And I'm like, you know what? I've been, yes. Now, mind you, my mom is Islamic. Not, she's just.
Before you tell the story, can you explain why you felt the need to come out? Because I think people have a misunderstanding of what that means to different people. It's not the same for everybody.
So existing here, growing up in Baltimore City, growing up in the United States as a Black gay man, it is very difficult. And the reason why is because you are shunned by everyone. So I understood exactly what Lil Nas X was saying. You're told that you're called a faggot, you're called a sissy, you're called a punk, you're going to hell. You don't have any support in your family. You don't get support in the church. You don't get support in school. When you're picked on, it's because you're bringing it upon yourself because you acting out.
And even if they know who you are,
exactly.
Even if they know who you are and you say solid, you don't get half the amount of struggle as you do if you say it. If you publicly say it.
If you even if you're in like closeted, but you are just struggling, it's literally like having a size 12 foot and a size 8 shoe. Mm-hmm. That's what existence is like. Because you're trying to conform and you're trying to play a part, and it's difficult for you. And what happened for me when I was growing up, it was very difficult for people to understand what my struggle was because they didn't accept it. So they ignored it or they forced you to put on that too small shoe. And so they look, you just going through some changes and you don't have any allies. There are no gay male mentors. There are no places of support groups. I really applaud the many LGBT support groups and centers and things that they have now, because when I was growing up, it wasn't accepted and you were laughed at, you were talked about, and that was in your home. It was worse when you went to church because now you're going to hell. So it's no point of you going to church. There's no sense of you having any spirituality. And so in certain religions, it was just like you needed to kill yourself. So the extreme religions. And so my mom, Islamic, I had already my mom lived in another state. I lived here. She lived abroad. And I'm like, you know what? I had already had it in my mind that I'm going to tell her, give her a piece of my mind on New Year's Eve. If she don't like me, she don't have to accept me. She can go on and do blah, blah, blah. And I'm ready. And I'm ready.
So you were prepared to be without her?
I was prepared to let my entire family go. I was ready. And when I called her and I'm stumbling over the words. And by the time I got to the fact like, Mom, I'm gay, she was like, I knew that when you was 15. What she really said was, I knew you was dealing with it when you was 15, but I knew that's who you were young. And I was like, well, why you ain't tell me? And her response was, you had to figure it out. But now, had I known I had the experience, ain't no damn duh.
There she is. Hey, beautiful.
You were gay?
Nobody even know.
We couldn't tell. No. Well,
no.
You
is lying.
No. So yeah, and the funny thing is, I remember when she found out, because it was a little guy that I was in middle school, and it was a guy that was in a 8th grade that had this crush on him. And he would call the house all the time. And I would get on the phone, and I was just naive. I didn't even pay any attention. But when he would get on the phone with my mother, he would have this.
Oh, he got you clocked.
He did. He got me clocked bad. Because he'd be like, he came on there. Now, mind you, for me, whenever he was talking to me, he'd be like, yeah, what's up, this, that, and the other. And did y'all hear how deep that went? I was like, yeah, yo. That's how he was. On the phone with my mother, he'd be like, hello, is Lorenzo there? And I was like, ah! And so when he had his high-pitched voice, my mother was like, who is that? And I'm like, it's a friend from school. And she was like, well, he's still gay. And I'm like, he ain't gay. I don't have no gay friends.
As your voice went up.
And as my voice went up 10 octaves.
I got your clock.
But like I told her that. And so I was saying to them that when you're struggling with your sexuality, you're willing, like a lot of, and it's a painful process in coming out, and you feel the need to do that because it's liberating. And people say, well, it's a choice. It's not a choice to be gay or straight. It's a choice to be true. It's a choice to be you. You don't know, when you're attracted to people, you're attracted to qualities and characteristics that are individual. And a lot of times what happens is that we box love in and think that it has to be between a male and a woman, and we limit it to just that. And maybe your true love, the soulmate that you're looking for, may not be in the person that you're looking at, but in the person that you're not looking at.
Right.
And so that's why a lot of people are miserable, which ties me into the next situation. So I looked at the interview with Donnie McClurkin, and I really it was so heartbreaking.
Oh my goodness. Who did it?
No, so basically,
well, first of all, let's give some context.
Right.
Donnie McClurkin is in his 60s having this conversation.
Who did he have it with?
It was an interview.
With
who? Well, you're gonna have to
okay, I'll find it. I'll find it.
And basically, in a conversation, he's like, I'm gonna grow old and alone, because he doesn't know how to love a woman.
Now, I'm gonna give you a little backstory, Blue. He was in a homosexual relationship.
I know.
For a number of years with one person.
Mm-hmm.
And because when he made his choice, his decision, based on what his religion was, he left that person. Mm-hmm. And a struggle for years trying to rid himself of that person. Now he's in a space where he's on this side and he's alone.
Mm-hmm. And for the viewers who just joined us, we're talking about the Donnie McClurkin interview on Uncensored, where he talks about probably dying alone.
Mm-hmm.
You better search for the resources. Look at that.
I love it. Let me tell you,
Miss K is I was still been on there trying to tap. I'm still be trying to figure it out.
And when I heard him, I could hear the pain in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that the things that he desires, I know that that's a struggle, because it's an inner conflict,
It is.
Your musical peers are calling you a faggot indirectly, or a sissy indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how did you get there?
Or forcing you. No.
Who said that to him?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what was her name? The gospel singer that her sermon was caught live. Somebody was recording her sermon.
Kim Burrell.
Right, and she was talking about this. That's one of his musical peers.
But it's not her. You gotta understand how deeply entrenched people are in the doctrine. Like,
that's what I was spent. But these still are your friends.
Yeah,
these still
but
are
they
your
can't
peers.
help it. They may not even really like. I can remember being in church, being in a relationship with a woman, living with a woman, and being in church every Sunday and having to listen to the bishop tell me how I'm wrong, I'm doomed, I'm going to hell, being called up to the front of the church to get prayed over, to pray the sin and the gay out of me, laying in the floor with people's hands, I'm sweating to death, everybody got their hands on me, everybody praying, speaking in tongues, spitting, stuttering, and being told that it's a mind-heart decision. What?
Yeah,
it's a mind-heart decision. Who do you love more? You gotta love God more in order to fix this situation. You gotta love God more. Well, if it took a lot of maturity for me to get to a place where I realized that if God made me and He made me who I am, as I am, then He made me knowing that this part of me is inside of me. Why would He curse me? Why would He make me to be a curse to Himself? Why would He do that to me and then call me to him. That makes zero sense. None of what you're saying makes sense to me.
Well, that's flesh. That's our flesh understanding. Because if we went, and I know you know the word,
right?
But in a moment you're listening to people and their ideals and doctrine. Doctrine is written, handmade by man,
and
we're listening to them discuss who God is versus who we know him to be. Because he often went to the person that was least likeliest. But my point in saying that about him was, and I don't like to throw the women versus men, but even in your situation, there still was a level of privilege because they were telling you could change. For these men, even if they go over and don't do that behavior anymore, they'll never be accepted on this side. So you're telling me to do this, but I'm gonna be sitting in a punishment box, with the dunce head on, when I do make that decision.
Right, you're right, because I've seen it. Where, girl, how you gonna marry him? You know he used to date men. I've seen it. You can't marry him.
And it's sad because he's not the only one that is in that position. What's the young man, Tone?
Tone, yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah, his struggle to the point where he left. And but that was something that he really enjoyed. He enjoyed singing gospel music, but then he went into secular music because he was not accepted with his truth. And I think it's a difficult thing because people think that, and for them to have a relationship spiritually and to have to subscribe to the morality, the moral codes of whatever church affiliation they're with, is just beyond me. It's so unfair because you could go in there and you could actually in the church sleep with every female in the first pew.
Talk about it.
And be okay.
Talk about it.
You can go in there.
They make it seem like you can't love God and be a lesbian, or you can't love God and love a man if you are a man, and that's just not so.
And then these people, and the sad thing is that they live these lives and they're miserable, or they do things like the that young man did, where he's in a church and he's performing oral sex and stuff like that. They do things where they, yes, I had.
But look, as long as you don't say anything,
yes, he did.
As long as you don't say anything, they overlook it. Especially if you have a talent or a gift.
Oh no,
they overlook it. But just don't talk about it.
They don't overlook it as long as they can make use of you.
Because that's what I'm saying. If you have that,
because as long as you're bringing them, as long as you're doing and you're staying in your lane. So if you are gay and you're singing,
right,
and you're gay and you're playing, and you're gay and you're directing, as long as you don't put that stuff out in front of the church, you're good. And so my thing is, again, it's like wearing that too tight shoe. When you have a size 12 foot and a size 8 shoe, that damn thing hurt.
It make you
and you start to do shit that it starts to fall. People start to see that shoe is hurting because you start to.
But they don't even care.
It affects your attitude.
They do not care. They don't.
Your feet hurt.
Right? They don't care. That becomes your burden in life because of the choices you made, and that's how they look at it. And outside of even sexuality, I'm thinking, I don't want to make this argument about church, but it's hard because church makes themselves a big buffoon in this. That we see people struggling, and you make it harder by putting them in a box so you can understand them, not for them to understand because they've gotten understanding, but their understanding is in limbo right now because they're trying to make you happy and still make themselves happy. Hence what the DL culture is in life. And you judgmental individuals have created that lifestyle. It wasn't the person.
You wouldn't have the Mondawmin situations if people didn't feel as though they had to hide.
But my thing is with church culture, It shouldn't, none of that should be. Your only responsibility is to love, not judge. Love. What you and your person do, whether you are male and your partner is female, male and your partner is male, male and your partner used to be male and is now female, no matter what the combination of the partnership is, it's none of my business.
Right.
My only job is to love you. Stay out of people's business. Stay out of people's bedrooms. Stay out of people's drawers. Stay out of people's jobs. Mind your business and just love them.
The thing is, I mean, that's a sin in itself. I mean, everybody, want to point the finger about what's a sin, but that's a sin in itself. When you judging people and
without a heaven or hell to put them in.
And that's the thing. It's like
it's all in what your relationship is with you and God, not what everybody else is understanding. Because you hear that voice in you that tells you what you're supposed to be doing and what you're not supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so listen to that. Don't because the thing is it's all.
But you gotta. I'm gonna say this. I always say challenge the narrative. Because a lot of people operate off of someone else's definition and mindset.
That's Christian. They ain't never read the Bible. You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
But you out here, putting what you think on somebody else, and you ain't even read the scripture.
You don't know the word for yourself.
You depending on the
quoting somebody else who quoting.
Yeah, you depend on the preacher to tell you how to move. But do you read it for yourself to see what it really means?
What it really say in context. Talk about that.
Or the verse before and the verse after that you omitted.
Right. Go back and start from the beginning of the chapter. Try that.
Or the fact that these are individual stories of people that were affected. This is historical tales of individuals. It has nothing to do with God itself, because my thing it doesn't make sense that a being creates all of this stuff and it wasn't supposed to be. You get what and it can't create it. So you create the stuff, but then you can't correct it. You need to do all of these things to make it right. No, if I created it, I can destroy, I can do what I want with it. If it's there, it's supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. So I think for these individuals, like the sadness that I had for him was when he said, I will never be able to be a father.
Oh, that's not true, Donnie.
And that I
but if that's what you've been groomed, raised, and he Caribbean on top of being
my gosh,
a minister.
I forgot. Oh yes.
Like, and people don't know the damage that they do to individuals with their own insecurities.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, it'll make you feel like there was a time in church where I felt like I just shouldn't be around other people. Mm-hmm. I felt like I shouldn't be around other women. I felt like I shouldn't be around. Chad, listen, I need a whole month full of therapy.
But understand,
anyway, you need a cocktail.
But that tidbit of that window of knowledge that you have, and I know women go through this as well. But that's how our culture treats black men that come out. You almost and I really am not as vocal about this as I should be, but it is very difficult to exist in a world where people are uncomfortable around you based on their fears and insecurities. It has nothing to do with
ignorance. Don't
but
forget
they
ignorance.
treat you a certain way based on their insecurities, and then you begin to adopt those insecurities because you're like, well, damn, is it me?
Right?
Did I do something wrong to you, or have I said something? Do you believe that I want you? And is this people live in fear? People, is this story
and that goes back to what I said earlier. I say that goes back to what I said earlier. Like, fear is usually when you are fearful of something. Usually, it's because you really
don't understand it.
It's because you're. But I think, what about the hating things because it's really like what's her name? Jules said, do you hate them because it's pieces of you?
But it's because
a reflection of you.
It is, but it's also because you don't understand that aspect of you. And you are afraid, and because you don't know you and you don't know of the content, you move in a way and you operate in a way that ostracizes, hurts, and isolates others. You do more damage than good. And because you don't understand it for yourself. Again, it's like I said, you can't say you don't like something if you've never tried it. Right. Because it's the same idea, but that's the same principle that they use to justify treat black people being treated like dogs. That's the exact same philosophy, you know. And what had
Brianna's statement really made Brianna's first statement made a lot of sense.
What's that?
About Kimberly Wyback?
What's she saying?
She said, yeah, Kimberly Wyback having ass doesn't condemn gay men when they doing her makeup.
Oh,
Kimberly.
But she told the story. Yeah, she told the story about her friend. She said, I believe my friend took his own life because of his struggle with his sexuality and his spirituality. Yeah, he absolutely loved God, and a lot of people didn't know he was struggling. So I feel Donnie.
Yeah.
Another blues tale. When I first started working in...
Where's the song? You got to do the song.
Blues tale.
It's another blues tale. And so I was... blues tale.
I want a cartoon to come in during the show, like when we get advanced, and do that, and then the cartoon walk off the screen.
Mother, we need to work on that.
Work on that, Monty. Work on that,
Mother.
Blue tag. It gotta look like Blue. It gotta have a skirt and all that shit.
Have my head wrap on and everything, and a gap too. And I ain't getting mine mixed and eyeshadow, and I'm not getting mine fixed either. I'm not getting it fixed.
No, you cannot get it fixed. That's shit.
So I was working at a shelter for children, a youth shelter, and it was the only homeless shelter for youth in Baltimore City at the time. And there was a young man that he committed suicide. Now, he wasn't at the shelter. He committed suicide outside of the shelter. But I met him at the shelter. And the thing was that this young man, he was struggling with his sexuality. And he told me a story. He said that, you know, when he was raised in a church and he had, he didn't want to be gay. And he went to his pastor and he asked his pastor to help him. And the pastor asked him to perform oral sex on him. And so those are some of the things that young gay men and women are dealing with when dealing with their sexuality. And I know it to be true because
even in the straight world, that happens to me.
Yeah, I know it to be true. So when this young man, when I heard that this young man had committed suicide, I realized what his struggles was. You know, I'm fortunate that I have a different type of constitution. I love life too much, and I ain't killing myself to make you happy. But not everyone feels that way. You get what I mean? Yeah. And I learned something. The wisdom in me knew that if my family didn't accept me, I had the ability to create my own family. And I knew how to make my own people so I was okay. But there are so many young people, and listening to their stories, I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's
that you and I remember, because if people would say you chose to be gay, why the hell would I choose something that would make me a target all my life? Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's stupid. If
because
I had
they
a
only
choice,
they see gay sexuality as sex. That's it. Because so to them, that's the difference between what they do and what you do.
But they don't realize, first of all, let me tell you something. It's not as much gay sex as you must.
Crazy.
First of all, it ain't as much gay sex as they trying to make it out to be.
Right.
It ain't too much you're going to do. And first of all, look, it's a pain in the ass. Look.
Literally a pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass. It's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of stuff that y'all. It's just misconception. You can't just. You might like it, but
you see the amount of money Bleu has to invest in chapstick. That's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot.
That money could go somewhere else.
Right. It's hard finding the right size roller.
Literally, it's hard.
I have to work hard for these. You know what I have to do to buff these down to get all of that stuff?
So he probably got a shoe shine person that do his lips and shit.
No.
Got that bitch with the red light.
Popping that rag so fiercely.
But what I will say is they make the softest pillows this side of the
motherfucking lips came out that bitch like glee. Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it takes a lot. It do take a lot of work to be this gay, and it takes a lot of work. You know, I'm on.
Boy, am my arm tired.
Wow.
No, I cannot.
Motherfucker got salt shaker training.
Oh my!
Shake weight. Use the shake weight.
Put it around.
Oh,
he look like he been hosed.
I've
been hosed.
But that's how you get this flawless black skin.
You're melting, darling.
But it's crazy that this amount of conversation has been stemmed from this young man, and it's sad because they're making him out to be so malicious and so calculating. But what if this is his deep-seated thoughts? Like,
what are we talking
the
about?
Imagery. I'm just talking about Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
Just the imagery alone in that video was just. It was a
lot.
lot. Like
it really. I like the fact. So first of all, I think he's doing. And if you look at, I always say there's a timeline. So when you're young and you're coming to terms with who you are, I think for him, I can understand. He suppressed who he was for years. Mm-hmm. And then he was given a platform. He's making this money. He's got this platform. He's moved on. He's moved abroad. He's separated himself from, where he originally was. And now he has an opportunity to be himself. And that feels good. And he's trying on all of the outfits until he finds one that fits him. You get what I mean? So I think that right now, what we're seeing is him just exploring. He's in drag. He got black fingernails, and what happens is people associate that with being gay, and it's not. It's just expression. And it's him trying to come to terms with who he is. This is him telling his story like, yeah, I wanted to try putting on a wig. And in his video, what I really, really liked is he played every part. Except for the devil. He wasn't, I don't know who that guy was, but
that guy was super buff.
Everybody else,
that should tell you what he was in the deep state of his mind. Like, he is all these people but the devil. I'm not the devil, people.
Right. But if you
Art
look
is
at
just that literal
the imagery, the imagery was, he was being crucified down here, and then he was trying to get into heaven, and he was rejected there. Mm-hmm. And that's when he did his pole dance to hell. and was basically like, well, shit, if you ain't gonna accept me here, I'm there and there, and I'm not gonna get there, then I may as well go down there and twerk and take over the hell, because essentially he killed the devil and took over the seat himself.
Yeah, but also the song is about him being in a relationship with a closeted boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like he's dealing with that. He's dealing with the people, calling him all kinds of names.
Babies.
All of the things. So I mean, you can't get no.
If the baby's out here struggling.
If I can say anything to the allies of, the friends of, the I don't think your gay child or your gay friend needs you to go to bat and protect them from a toxic people. But it's a certain level of not only understanding but compassion. That means if you're going to be an ally for that person, you need to change your vocabulary. You need to change the things you say where you omit your friend, but you mean all the other gay people. No, you need to change how you speak. You need to change how you publicly think, how you privately think.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to continue to be an ally for this person.
But I also think that you need to be confident and courageous enough to check people when they are putting your friend down when they're not there to defend themselves. I think a lot of times what people don't realize is for individuals, it's a lot like a lot of gay men and women and trans men and women have to bear that burden by themselves. And sometimes it feels good to have someone come to your aid and say, no, that's fucked up and you fucked up for thinking or being that way. And so I think that to be a true ally, you have to be willing to say, I'll stand up for you in your face and I'll stand up for you when you're not around.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times that doesn't happen. People will sit back and say, I'm your ally, but they'll drag your name through the mud.
That's terrible.
All to fit in with that other group of people.
Right. And that's what I got from it. And it's so sad that him and Donnie McClurkin and those individuals like him have lived such tormented lives. Because that's what it really is a testament to. And it was like, damn, that's really messed up because, this man, Donnie McClurkin, sings his ass off.
Yes, he does.
And
I'm wondering because I remember when it came out before and he was forced to do it. But I wonder what energy went into him saying it. Is he looking at the Tonays and the Little Nas X's and the Walls young man? Is he looking at their story and saying, I don't want them to have to deal with this industry the way I've had to deal with it, or this ministry the way I've had to deal with it? Like, possibly. I wonder if it's just him looking at them doing that.
Possibly. I mean, he might be out there saying mindset as Gamey, like it's too late for me to try to explore this option. But Brianna said that Little Nas X said on Twitter that he hated himself for years and how people said he was going to hell for being gay. And now that he decided to do that, all the things that he did in his video, everybody is mad.
But you already put him in hell. So he just gave you the imagery of your desire,
of all of your words, and that's my point. That's the artistry of it. He put on display all of the bullshit. He put it right out on display.
He should have said at the end, "These are your words, not mine."
Right. Like all of the hate that people spew, I feel like he put it in one nice little neat package for everybody to consume. This is what you give me. Like the fact that everybody, I feel like most, especially like religious folk, I feel like the minute you say gay man, all of the images that he put out there as a gay man is what people see. Oh, he's gay, so that means he dresses in drag. He wants to be a woman. He sashays when he walks. He deals with butt plugs. Like all of these over the top images. Like when my brother was alive and he would, people would find out he was gay. He said some woman argued him down. You are not gay. There's no way you're gay. Why can't
she want to fuck him? Because she said
because she wanted him to be a caricature of a gay man. Like Bleu said, she wanted him to be a minstrel. Hey girl, how you? You know that whole.
But it goes into if they would still want to do it to you, then they couldn't possibly see you as something like that. Like they didn't fit that image of what they thought a gay person was supposed to be like. Like not every gay person want to fix your eyebrows.
Right.
Right.
That's not.
Or knows how to, for that matter.
Right.
That part. Like, I had to apologize to Bleu when I first met Blue's Tale. Blue's Tale. I first met Bleu. This was one of our first singing events. This is the Aretha Franklin show. And I just automatically assumed that Bleu knew something about taping titties.
Ooh, and they'll pull them out. They just go right here, just pull them out. Can you take my titties out for me?
Yeah, I pull the titties all the way out. Can you take
HR.
And Bleu was just in their hands on my little nips and everything, and he taping and rolling, and he like, no, girl, I don't know nothing about this, but we gonna try. I was just like, oh.
It is very alarming. It's very.
I got learned that day, like, bitch, no, that is not it. You owe this man an apology. How dare you, bitch? How dare you? Like, I had to check
had he whipped that little worm out, you'd be like, oh my God, Jonathan, I'm not dealing with him anymore. Just pull this wiener out.
He said, wait a minute. let me explain something. You ain't nothing little about me.
First of all, that's exactly what I was looking at. Like,
I saw it all on his face. I saw it all on his
that little worm.
Did he just say little?
He over here.
We make assumptions, and it's just up to us to learn. And I got learned that day. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. And you ain't never gonna hit the lottery.
Hilarious. This was a good conversation.
Yes.
Okay. What else did I have? What else did I post? What else we talking about? Let me have another drink. Y'all take over the wheel. I'm about to drink.
That's what I'm doing.
Jeebus. All right, let me see. What else is on her?
Hey, and I had a good one, and I forgot it now.
Have any of y'all watched the trial?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I've heard like little snippets. I haven't sat and actually watched it.
I've been watching it, and so I have a fear. I'm watching it, and I'm watching it with the auntie side eye. You know what I mean?
And I'm talking about girlfriends.
I'm talking about the whiskey. Huh?
Did you watch the girlfriends part of her cross-examination?
And that right there is what's making me watch it with the drunk auntie whiskey side. I'm like, oh, these MFers is getting ready to try to get him on the typical technicality. They're gonna try to make my man out to be a junkie, and they're gonna try to say that it was an overdose. However, I do have a
testimony or something. I don't know if it was an official testimony, but apparently there was a camera across the street or something, a police camera, and the person that was looking at the camera said that they was on him so long that she thought that the cameras froze.
Yeah.
So.
And she's the one who actually she called the chief.
Yeah, she called the guy who handles what do they call it? When it's excessive force. Yeah, she called that guy. Because otherwise I don't think they would have called them.
But it was interesting watching the girlfriend testify, because all the correspondents were saying they got wind that she was asked to testify because they needed to make him look human.
Yeah, well, she set the defense right on up with a
Yeah, it really watching her testify, because I wasn't gonna watch it, because this is like what number of court cases have we seen, and it's the same thing. Like, what does him having gotten high have to do with him? Because you said he was high, he was under the influence of heroin. Heroin is not going to make you all over the place. That shit is gonna make you calm and
lay the fuck back.
So but they tried to make it out to, so when the paramedic got on the stand, they asked about, did he check for the pulse and did they check for pupil dilation? And they asked, was it pinpoint? He was like, no, they were expanding. He was like, well, does methamphetamine make pupils dilated or open? And he was like, methamphetamine will make your pupils be open. So that's what they're trying to say.
It was weird watching them try to set it up. The defense try to set up the drug, like they were driving it home, him being high, them going back to when he was starting to get high again, and trying to lead up to the day of he got high a couple days before they found drugs in his system. Well, he was getting high, but all of this still stems from a $20 bill.
Right.
You $20 bill, that's insured. Not to say that if he did it and knowingly passed it.
First of all, the question should have been, if somebody is kneeling on someone's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, will it be possible that they would live?
Well, the chief of police said that was too long. The chief of police said that was too long.
But wait a minute. So they even laid the foundation even further with the guy, with the excessive force guy, where he said that the position that they had him in, he shouldn't have been in anyway. Even without them on his back, he should have been in on his side, because the position that he was in can lead to breathing complications on its own.
Right.
And if you look at what led up to that, one, the man had just recovered from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Two, he has anxiety. Three, he is I believe that man was legitimately claustrophobic. If you watch his reaction to,
he peed on himself.
Well, right. I think he peed on himself more so because at that point he was dying.
Mm-hmm.
He was dying.
Either way,
for his bodily functions at that point, he was on his way out of there.
But either way, when they had him sitting on the sidewalk, he was trying to tell him, he was like, okay, we can go to the car, but wait a minute, I need to tell you something first. Let me talk to you first. And then he was like, I need to tell you, I got anxiety and I'm claustrophobic. That's what he was trying to tell him. Then he was like, okay, I'm gonna get in the car. Let me count to 3 first. And then the other guy came around, was like, no, get in the car, blah, 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 blah. He was like, okay, wait, I'm gonna get in the car. So everybody's cross talking. He's trying to pump himself up to get in the car like they asking him to. To me, it was just like Lemony Snickets. It was just like a series of unfortunate events.
The only defense they can say is that he was high. That's the only defense that they have, is that he was high.
Even if he wasn't high, even if that was a healthy person, you being on their neck for that amount of time would have killed them.
Even still, right? Being on his neck, and him already being in a hyper state, and him being in that position, which they said
a healthy person would have died, is my point.
Right. So, yeah, either way.
Like, I mean, they're doing all of this talking about whether or not the knee was what caused the death. And you saw what caused the death.
But then they say, didn't they do an autopsy or something, said it was asphyxiation?
What the hell is asphyxiation?
Choking until that.
Right. Well, the chief of police said the position they had him in is normally just to calm him down, to take him down. They were supposed to turn him on his side,
right?
Safe, but being on your chest and having 3 officers on top of you will cause you to die. It's gonna, because you're not breathing properly. Your chest isn't able to expand.
That's my point. So the damn drug shit should be out the damn window, because again, a healthy person would have died in the same situation. So
without two people, without a man on your back and a knee in your neck. Brianna said it was 9 minutes and 29 seconds, and he was dead for at least 5 of those minutes. Now, one of those guys, I feel bad for that dude, because I don't know if he was the newbie on the team, because one of those guys was new.
He was.
And he kept saying, one, he knew it. He was like, should we turn him on his side? Nobody responded.
But see, that's
then
why
he said,
I feel like he shouldn't be.
He said, oh, I think he's passed out. He lifted his leg and the leg was limp. He said, oh, I think he's passed out. Nobody said nothing. That's when the off-duty EMT came across the street like, you need to check his pulse.
But they wouldn't let her check the pulse, remember?
No, but so that's when the other guy grabbed the wrist, and then Chauvin had his taking his pulse and held it there while his knee was on his wrist. And he was like, I don't got a pulse, man. I can't feel a pulse. But he stayed there.
But I tell you what, like you said, the new guy, I feel like he shouldn't get no time.
Right.
Like because more than likely he was still in training in some type of way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if even if this your first day out there as a cop and you official, okay, those are your superior officers. So you can't tap him on his shoulder and be like, hey buddy, don't you think you should, you know what I mean? That's your superior officer. So even if you say something, what can he do?
I would have rathered him because that's like me saying somebody beat the hell out of anybody on heat. They might be, I would rather you step up and say, or try to intervene in some way, shape, or form, than just say, because this is my senior officer, I didn't have the power to do it. That's just humanistic.
That tells even with him being that new, that tells you how thick that blue line code is. Even a new person feels the pressure of it.
Yeah, because he's on the same side that they are, and he felt like he couldn't do anything. Like listening to those people testify was heartbreaking. That they all are standing there. It's 12 of y'all, and it's 4 of them, and 12 of them, one towel standing in the way of them and helping George get off that ground, and everybody was like, I just felt like I couldn't do anything.
Well, especially
how the hell do you feel like you can't do anything? This is crazy.
In our black community,
you got to think about it. They tell you do not intervene.
Right.
Don't intervene the police. And then with people getting shot and all of that stuff.
Right.
People scared to react.
Right. All of them standing. Every time they would go toward him, he would reach for his mace. And they all felt like they couldn't do anything. Everybody broke down crying. Everybody was like, every day I think about him. Every day I wish I had done something different. Every day I wish I had helped him. All of them. That shit
was horrible.
All of them. It's heartbreaking.
Whew. That's why I said I wasn't gonna watch it, and I just so happened to watch the episode with his girlfriend, and I want to punch her in her face. I don't want her to lie, but that whole laughing, crying shit was driving me.
Too much.
It was really driving me, like. And she revealed, so we everybody he was calling out for Mama. They asked her, "What is your name
in his
phone?" And she said, "Mama." And I was like, you know what? Fuck all of y'all. I'm done because this.
So now he wasn't calling out for his mama.
No, because then they turned around and asked, "Well, what does he call his mother? What did he call his mother?" And she was like, "Mama."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, but so there's no way of knowing whether he's calling you or his mother. She was like, no.
Well, what significance of he was crying out for help?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because when they heard him calling for his mother, which I think is already passed away, when they heard him calling for his mother as a grown man, you know what I'm saying? You calling for your mama, you are in distress. You know what I'm saying? Like you all the way to your limit.
Right.
And for him to say that, so now they got to make it look like, he was calling for his mama. He was calling for his girlfriend. Like, no, don't try to downplay it. You know what I'm saying? You know that man's for putting TP on himself.
Wait, but what's making me upset is the fact that why does it take this much to convict with your fucking eyes beyond a reasonable doubt?
If they didn't have one person to testify.
He had his hands in his pockets. He had his hands in his pockets.
I didn't see him.
Beyond a reasonable doubt
He
is you have all
he
the
had
evidence.
his hands in his pockets while he was kneeling on his neck.
How much footage do they have of this shit happening?
They got
how many
they got
witnesses?
the guy that was parked behind, the guy who was parked behind them when they took him out the car. They got 2 videos from him. They got about 3 or 4 different body cameras.
They got the store video,
the other side,
the police video,
all the witnesses on the sidewalk.
I don't know if they had on body cams or not.
They did.
They did, because when the chief of police talked to him, he made him he told him to turn his camera off. So he had his camera on the whole time.
No, he didn't.
When did he turn it on?
Chauvin's camera came off when they was pulling him, keeping him from hitting the ground when Jackass yanked him through the car. Chauvin's camera was on the ground. When he picked it back up, I don't know. So the whole time he was on top of George, his camera was facing asphalt on the ground on the street.
How convenient.
Well, you know, they showed the moment where he hit the ground, so it wasn't like he took it
I
off.
just know if this
First of all, I don't trust any of these agencies that are run by. I don't trust any of the boards. I don't trust any of the legal agencies. I don't trust none of them. I think they all need to be overhauled, overturned, and everything, because they are full of shit. And that's just my opinion. It's not the alcohol. This is just how I really feel, that this whole situation, that they're full of shit. The laws are full of shit because it's convenient when you wear the right color. So
I think this one is going to make a difference, because if this one turns out the way a lot of the other ones, the majority of the other, it's not. This is not going to be a pretty. I don't think it's going to be marching.
We're going to march again.
It's not going to be marching.
We're going to march again.
Not with the political climate being what it is. No, sir.
We are going to march again.
No.
And that's it, because that's what we do.
Sorry, Kamala, but your vice presidency is about to be scorned. If they do what I think they're going to do, based on these testimonies, sorry, Kamala, but you will get it too.
I was told by mother that my socialites have to leave my porch. And
the street light is on.
Yeah, the street light is on. Y'all have to go home. If you've tuned in, this is the Kocktail Social. I'm your host, Bleu Waters. I missed you for the past 2 weeks, but my socialites held it down from what I was told. So I hope that you join us next week for another Kocktail Social with my socialites and myself. And I bid you adieu.
And the next show after this, it is what it is. It's coming on right after this.
Yes.
Just tune in.
Tune in. Stay tuned for it. It is what it is on the Exposed Radio.
April Fool.
Love you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hot table. Love you, Johnny.
Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
What you eat today, Nate?
I've been drinking these lemon lime sparkling waters all day.